And welcome once again to the roof, Doug Brown, along with...
Let's make sure the streams are muted.
Yeah, I muted the site.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know these two. I didn't know Doug and Brian ever did TV. I thought they were just the radio guys.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, Brian's a good guy. I've talked to him a couple of times. All right,
Okay,
so
stream is live.
All right, so are we ready to roll here?
Yeah, we're live now.
All righty. Welcome everybody to another WTB Sports YouTube live stream broadcast. Today, I'm Daniel Maltz along with Joe Pohorilis, and we are bringing you Boston University men's basketball as they get ready to take on the Army Black Knights. Now for the BU Terriers, this is their fifth game of the season. They enter at 1-3, coming off 3 consecutive losses, dropping their second game against the Holy Cross Crusaders, and then dropping both games against their arch Patriot League rival Colgate. And Joe, the Terriers really need a rebound here in these Patriot League games. They did not look good against Colgate, especially in their 89-45 blowout loss last weekend.
Yeah, they're on a 3-game losing streak right now. They won their season opener versus Holy Cross, and these two sides, they've actually played the same Patriot League opponents this season. So when you look at their stats in Patriot League play, both teams have only played Holy Cross and Colgate so far this year. So pretty comparable, just about as comparable as they get when it comes to how these teams have performed in the season so far.
And tip-off has gone, and the starters have just been announced for us here. We didn't get them before, so we apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We will get that information to you as it comes our way. For the Terriers, Ethan Britton Watts, Walter White, Damon Tate, Jack Hemphill, and Suk Matone, the 5 starters. Coach Joe Jones has used a lot of different combinations of starters in this game, in this team's young season. First shot, 4-3 coming from Navy, and it is no good. Here is Ethan Britton Watts, one of the Terriers' better freshmen from a season ago, now entering his second season with the team, looking for a lane to pass to, finds the big 6'8" Jack Hemphill, fires it under to Suk Matone. Hemphill 4-3, and it's not going to make it.
Looks like Army is going with a 2-3 zone to start out. Should be a little bit more interesting, different than most college teams run with. Terriers might want to take advantage of the spacing they get in that zone defense.
And Army gets onto the board first, with the first 3 coming from Josh Caldwell. Caldwell, one of the 3 big scorers on this Army team, averaging 11.2 points per game and is shooting over 50% from the field goal line or farther back. He's not necessarily the biggest 3-point threat on this team, but he drains one right there to get Army on the board. And here we have Jack Hemphill sending it around the arc. Walter White finds Suk Matone. And from the corner, the 3-point shot from Damon Tate is no good. Rebound picked up from Jack Hemphill. Tries to get the shot off, and there's nothing really there. Army charging back down the court. Jalen Rucker with the ball, looking to get closer for a good shot. Nothing is there. And here we have for Army, number 34, Charlie Peterson, draining it for 2, putting Army up by a score of 5-0 as we are just about a minute and 40 seconds in. BU trying to get on the board here. Walter White 4-3, and it's not going to make it. Rebound attempted to get picked up there by Suk Matone, but he could not get it. It'll be Army's ball. 5-0 Army as we have our first real break in the action.
Yeah, BU not getting anything done on the offensive side. They've only had a few possessions, only a few shot attempts, but it seems like their struggles from 3-point land are continuing in this game so far.
Season high is just 7, and right on cue, a 3-point shot coming from Lonnie Grayson, leading scorer for the Black Knights, but it is no good. So after a real quick possession for Army, BU gets the ball back.
And he airballed that one, and he entered this game 27-71 from 3, which is a 38% from the 3-point line, which is definitely one of the higher marks in Patriot League.
Yeah, that is really high percentage, and that's where he gets a lot of his average of 12.2 points per game. Wild pass from Walter White. Hemphill barely able to hold on to it. Finds Damon Tate, the redshirt freshman, and Hemphill for 2, unable to get it in. The rebound picked up by Charlie Peterson, and Army will take it back down the court. Looking for a passing lane here. Finds Alex King. King gets it back to Rucker. Rucker for 2, not going to be there. And now Walter White with it. finds Suk Matone, the big 6'10" forward, been spending a lot of time around the perimeter. He's usually the guy, him and Jack Hemphill, two guys who really like to pound the ball close to the basket and shoot the easier 2-pointers. But we've seen Matone spending a lot of time behind the arc, setting up passes. And we have a foul on the play. And Ethan Britton Watts will bring it in. Passes it to Suk Matone, hands it off to Britton Watts, and the pass is taken. Stolen by Jalen Rucker, passes it up, and Army charging down the court, looking for a shooting lane here. Alex King with it, trying to find a lane, and he fires it under the basket. It's not going to count.
I have not seen a more blatant disregard of the BU mask rule than what Army's pulling off right here. Some of these players have got masks under the nose, some of it partially covering, but it seems like all of Army's players have got like the chin diaper going with I don't know how closely they
I've never heard that before.
You've never heard that?
No, yeah, that's kind of gross, but it's also funny because it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Here is Suk Matone going for two, and at 6'10", he can basically just hop 6 inches off the ground and get it in. And BU, just over 3 minutes into the game, finally gets on the board. Better late than never, for sure. Here is Army with it. Alex King looking to charge forward and go for two. The layup is in, and Army answers right back, 7-2. Ethan Britton Watts takes it. Slow developing play here. Hands it off to Damon Tate. Back to the corner. Britton Watts, nowhere to pass it to. Finds Suk Matone. Long pass for Walter White. A clear lane for three, and he's in. Walter White, one of the sweetest three-point shots on this Terrier team, and they pulled it within two, 7-5.
And that's his first three-pointer of the season. He was 0 for 11 from behind the three-point stripe entering today's game. So definitely got to feel good for him to get that first three-pointer in this year.
Alex King with two defenders on him, tries to take the shot and has absolutely nowhere to go with it. BU gets the ball back. Damon Tate gets to the arc, finds Andrew Petkash into the game for BU. Walter White going for two, and he's in. And we are knotted up at 7-7, 4.5 minutes in. And Walter White, so many times last year, was the focal point of this Terrier offense. And so far today, he has been just that. What a play there by Josh Caldwell, getting bumped into by a couple of Terrier defenders. He is not phased. And you know something, Joe? These Army players, you are absolutely right with their masking. Their masking may be horrible, but so far their shooting has been pretty on point when they've been able to take realistic shots.
Yeah, it seems like they've been
in the action.
Yeah, it seems like they've been getting to the basket in pretty much every single play. Suk Matone's the only one down low. The defense hasn't been too aggressive up front by the perimeter, but they really got to lock that down because Army, you mentioned before the broadcast, doesn't take too many three-point shots. It seems like their offense revolves pretty much entirely around getting to the basket, getting those 2-point shots, high percentage chances, and that's exactly what they've been able to do so far.
Yeah, BU, as we said right at the beginning here of the broadcast, they have topped out at 7 3-pointers made in any given game, and their scoring has been a little inconsistent this season. They've peaked at 83 points, which they scored in their season opener against the Holy Cross Crusaders. But as I said right at the top of the broadcast, just 45 against Colgate in their last game. And a lot of that has got to come from the tough time shooting from three. But Army has struggled with that too. BU's season high is 7, and so far, Army has topped out at 7 in 4 of their last 5 games.
Yeah, and that blowout against Colgate last time, the Terriers went just 1 for 29 on 3-point attempts, which is just about as bad as you can get. That's just around 3% from the 3-point line. And even in their previous 2 games before that, they were only shooting about 27%. So they may not ever be that, high volume, high scoring team from 3-point land, but it just has to get better if they want to beat most of these teams in the Patriot League. Shooting 3% is never going to do it.
Absolutely not. And this is a team that, especially with guys like Walter White, but not just him, Javante McCoy and Andrew Petkash are also just fine 3-point shot threats. And to go 1 for 29, that all that tells you is that there is something fundamentally off with the way the team has been performing. And that's just not going to work for Coach Joe Jones. And he has never been afraid in interviews in the past to talk about the positives and the negatives with his team's performance. And I'm sure that as he right on camera takes the mask off, Joe, I mean, the university decided to make it a policy that you had to be masked up at all times. And you know what? That's the rule. That's what they're going to go with. That's fine. But you got to stick to it. You got to stick to it. Army had a free throw attempt, and it is no good. And in the back corner, they're trying to get a pass off, and it is stolen, but recovered by Army. And play is whistled dead as Petkash awkwardly falls on the ball.
Yeah, I feel for them. I know it's hard to run up and down a basketball court with the mask on, but if they're going to make it. It seems like they've just done really nothing to address it in sort of a blanket statement, but we'll keep it mostly basketball here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just something really interesting to note because BU is one of, if not the only schools to mandate this. And unfortunately right now, they've been a little iffy on the rules, but we'll leave it there and get back to the basketball. Here is Damon Tate looking to find a passing lane, and he's got none. Goes to the corner. Andrew Petkash for three. It's not there. And Army will pick up the rebound. Charging down the court. Here is the big Alex King. Passing it under. Now goes back to him. He's thinking about shooting for three. Passes it off to Tucker Blackwell. Those two going back and forth. Blackwell handing it off. And into the corner. There is Josh Caldwell. Now a big three-point shot from Blackwell. Not there. Tate with the rebound. Just over 6 minutes into this first half from the roof at Case Gym, coming at you virtually here live on WTBU Sports. Garrett Pascoe had the play stopped while he had the ball in his hands, and it looks like the clock stops here for just a second.
Yeah, it looks like he stepped out of bounds around the baseline. It's going to be Army basketball.
This is something that I'm going to have to get used to, Joe, for doing more games with WTBU Sports. It's a lot easier to observe these minute things of when fouls happen or when players step out of bounds when you're actually there courtside and you can see it. And right now we are doing what we can to follow the action and give you the best coverage possible. This is something new territory. I know you've done a couple of games before, but this is a new one for me.
Yeah, I've not done it like this. This is my first game doing it virtually as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out.
Tucker Blackwell again going for a deep three, and he doesn't make it. The rebound tipped way up high in the air, picked up by Jalen Rucker. Knocks down one of the Terriers. He knocks down Garrett Pascoe, and the play is whistled dead. 13:41 to go here in the first. It is 9-7 Army over the Terriers.
Yeah, it looks like neither team has been performing too well offensively. Army's been getting to the basket, but really hasn't been as efficient shooting the ball. Getting down that close. And obviously the Terriers' struggles are continuing on the offensive side of the court.
Garrett Pascoe looking to keep it in bounds. He won't get it there. Army will retrieve the ball, looks like, as it stepped out of bounds. Another one of those things where, right where he stepped out of bounds on the near sideline for our perspective of where the main visual point is, we'd be able to see that right away because we'd usually be just inches from the action here. Here is Andrew Petkash going back and forth, passing with Pascoe. Pascoe looking for a passing lane. He's got none. Terriers unable to get inside the three-point arc with any authority here. Suk Matone barely inside the line. They step back out. Now Pascoe sending it back and forth. A deep three and a fade. What a shot from Andrew Petkash. And the three-pointer is drained, it looks like. The Terriers.
It looks like it got waved off. I think that may not have beaten the shot clock. It seemed kind of rushed in the attempt, and it did go in, but I don't think he got the shot off in time, it looks like.
Man, that is rough because that was one heck of a shot from Petkash, and I think you are right, Joe. Shot clock did run out, and the officials are conferring here to, I suppose, confirm that and get Army head coach Jimmy Allen into the mix with the information here.
They are taking a look at it, so this could be coming back depending on I wasn't paying too close attention to the clock on that shot, so we'll see how that turns out.
Another thing we got to get used to, that the shot clock at Case Gym, big numbers, you can see it. They got it all over the gym. Something else that we're going to keep getting used to here as we have more and more of these virtual broadcasts here on Zoom. 13 minutes, 9 seconds to go, and the clock has started to wind again. It is going to be Army's ball. No points for the Terriers. That is tough. A great shot combined with the fact that it would have given them their first lead of the game. 2-point attempt here from Josh Caldwell, not going to make it. Rebound picked up by the Terriers. Here is one of their new freshmen, Miles Brewster, with it. Pass under for Suk Matone, barely kept in bounds. Nice play by Pasco. But again, Terriers trying to get back inside the 3-point line. They're having a tough time with that. Matone looking to shoot for 2, passes it back. Brewster for 3 off the rim. Rebound tipped in by Hemphill twice, and both times they will just miss. Well, got to give Jack Hemphill credit. A+ for effort, but a couple of attempts to rebound that shot in for at least 2 points. Nothing there.
And he got fouled on the last one, so he'll be headed to the line right now. So that'll be a nice break for the Terriers. Hopefully tie this game up with 12 minutes to go.
First free throw from Hemphill goes right in, 9-8. Hemphill been getting more and more playing time as his Terrier career has gone on, especially now with the graduation of one of the Terriers' greater all-time scorers, Max Mahoney. Hemphill and Suk Matone have both been getting more involved roles as they're those guys who play more of the forward positions. And those two guys, they are rather prolific scorers. And it's going to be really interesting as this season goes on to see how those guys continue to play, especially Suk Matone, who has had double-digit points, I believe, in all 4 of the games BU's played this season. That's been one of their few consistent bright spots.
Yeah, and Hemphill, he obviously resides under the basket for most offensive possessions, but entering this game, he actually led the team in 3-point percentage, going 6 of 15 for 40% from the 3-point line. Obviously, that's not a tremendous sample size, but if anything, it might show more about how they're struggling. Just another example of how they're struggling from 3. But Hemphill, he's getting it done on all sides of the court.
Army added 2 points on a layup from Alex King, and that is where things currently stand at 11-9. Free throw coming by Alex King, and it was not there. So it is still 11-9, 12 minutes to go here in the first half. Army maintaining a slim 2-point lead. Long pass across the court. Terriers with a lot of quick passes, but there's no shooting lanes open. Walter White losing his balance there. Ethan Britton, Watson, Suk Matone back and forth passing. Still unable to get close for those higher percentage shots, and the ball is lost. Army takes the ball away, and the 2-point layup, a nice easy one for Alex King, one of the higher scorers on this team, makes it 13-9. Couldn't quite see who lost the ball for BU. Looked like it was Anthony Morales who may have lost it, but unsure about that when he is on the court right now for BU. Another one of BU's freshman class. Miles Brewster hands it off to Walter White. White under for Suk Matone, and he's trying to pass to the outside of the arc, looking for Anthony Morales, but the pass was blocked and then out of bounds.
Yeah, it was Tucker Blackwell that got interfered with the ball, but wasn't able to keep it in bounds. It's going to be BU ball. It looks like there's a timeout on the field or on the court right now, heading into this break.
Well, let's take a second here once again to thank you all for tuning in out here on WTBU Sports. Daniel Maltz and Joe Pohorilis with you, coming at you virtually, bringing you everything we can to cover today's BU men's basketball action as they play the first of 2 games against the Black Knights of Army. 13-9, Army does lead it, and in general, we've seen a pretty low scoring first half here. And if you take a look at how these 2 teams have been shooting, neither team's been pretty successful from 3. Army's 1 for 5. BU is 1 for 6. The difference coming from the field. 6 for 13 total for the Black Knights. Just 3 for 11 for BU.
And BU's going to have to take advantage of those missed shots from both sides of the floor. They're obviously, still early in the season, but the Terriers are the best rebounding team in the Patriot League so far, just from a numbers standpoint. They're averaging about 40.2 rebounds per game, and Army is the second worst in the Patriot League, only behind Lehigh. They're averaging about 32 rebounds per game. And even more specifically, BU has the most offensive rebounds total in Patriot League play this year, for 54, and Army has the fewest defensive rebounds. So if BU can take advantage of those prime second chance points, then that could really make a difference and help make up for the disparity in the field goal shooting.
Yeah, we saw that right away. I mean, after one of the 3-point attempts, Jack Hemphill had 2 chances basically that he created by himself to try to drain it for 2 points. And he didn't make either of the shots, but it's plays like that and instances like that where BU has got to capitalize more, as you said, Joe. Otherwise, these scoring woes are going to continue. And with an average entering this game of 68.3 points per game, that's not really terrible. But what's been a big problem for BU, and this got a little bit more bloated by the loss to Colgate, but they are allowing nearly 80 points per game to their opponents. And that is, forget the fact that their average differential in scoring is about minus 11 points. That doesn't really matter. The fact is that you just can't sustain surrendering 80 points to your opponents if you're going to struggle shooting on your end like BU has been so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
11 minutes, 20 to go. BU ball. Morales shooting for 2, and it will bounce up and no good. BU has been struggling, as I've said, to get inside the three-point line to try to make some higher percentage shots. And we're going to have a turnover here. Looks like it's going to be BU's ball with 11:04 to go. Sukmatone ready to bring it in. And the Terriers will look once again to get back into this game and crack double digits. They only trail by 4 in what has been a pretty low-scoring first half. Matone, long pass, the three-point shot, no good from Anthony Morales, and it is Army's ball. Once again, here is Josh Caldwell charging down the court. Nothing there. BU gets the ball right back. Here is Ethan Britton Watts. Passing it under for Suk Matone. Matone looking to pass it again for Walter White. White for 3, and this one's not going to get it. And they cannot pick up the offensive rebound either. Aaron Duhart with it. Handing it off to Lonnie Grayson. Grayson's been pretty quiet so far in this game. And as I said, with 12.2 points per game, he's been the highest scorer on this team so far. Alex King for 2. Contested shot, but it swirls around the rim and finds its way in. And Army will take a 6-point lead at 15-9. And looks like he may have gotten fouled on the play as well.
Yeah, he'll be shooting one from the free throw line. He's been doing a terrific job, Alex King, at getting to the basket, and that's one of the main reasons that Army's got their lead stretched up to 6, possibly 7 after this shot. He's got 8 points so far in this game.
Focal point of the offense, no question about it. The free throw, no good. And Alex King was 6 for 17 on free throws this season. Now make it 6 for 18. It's been a tough shot for him. Backward pass there from Walter White to Damon Tate back onto the court. Tate shooting 3, no good. BU's struggles continue here, shooting from 3. That 1 for 29 mark you said, Joe, they're so far still on pace to match it. I believe at this point they've only drained 1 3. It was from Walter White. Here is White again. Passing it to Suk Matone. Matone, the pass under for Hemphill, and Hemphill loses the ball. And Army will pick it right back up. Aaron Duhart with it. Hands it off to King. King charging a one-man wrecking crew through this Terrier defense. And he is on the board. So I believe that's now 10 points for King. As you said, Joey had 8 when he drained that last 2-pointer. 9:32 to go, and BU will take their first timeout. And I feel like this is the right time to do it. Army is starting to expand that lead back, and the Terriers are just not getting it done on offense.
Yeah, King is just having his way under the basket. He has no trouble penetrating through the Terrier defense and really just getting back in. See, he gets around Hemphill. They're showing the replay right now, and just beautiful touch, beautiful finish to get that bucket in. He's first player on the team to reach double digits, and he's got over half of the team's points right now for the Black Knights.
Yeah, an 8-0 run here before this timeout, and Coach Joe Jones, I'm sure, either trying to just have his team calm things down and try to figure out some way to penetrate this Army defense, because let's face it, Joe, they're shooting really well from the field so far, heating up, and better yet for them, they are playing great defense. BU is 3 for 15 from the field and 1 for 9 from 3. They've taken more shots from outside the three-point line than from within. That's not sustainable, and a lead is unobtainable when you're shooting 1 for 9 from 3.
And yet those are the only open looks they've been getting. You just mentioned how good the Army defense has been so far. They've really been on top in this sort of man 2-3 zone hybrid sort of thing they're doing. They're really locking things down pretty easily.
7 seconds to go on the shot clock. Jack Hemphill for 3, not going to make it. 1 for 10 now from 3 are the Terriers. And it's not like these shots are incredibly inaccurate. They're just all a little bit off, just missing. And something's got to change here. Otherwise, they're going to rack up another really low scoring effort from 3. And as you said, a 1 for 29 effort is about as low as you can go. They've got to improve from that. So far, we are not on the right track for that for them. Here is Walter White, fouled on the play. 8:51 to go here in the first half. Army maintaining their 8-point lead. Army gets the ball, and they bring it back in with Aaron Duhart taking it down the court. Passing it under to Nick Fink. Great pass there from Tucker Blackwell. And under for two is Josh Caldwell. Getting back on the board, him and Alex King have been doing almost all of the heavy lifting on offense for Navy as they now have a double-digit lead at 19-9. Quick three-point shot there from Andrew Petkash. Doesn't make it, so BU falls to 1 for 11 from three.
And neither of those guys, I was just saying, neither of those guys are Army's leading scorers. Lonnie Grayson, as you mentioned earlier, has been pretty quiet to start the day. So if he starts to heat up and King and Caldwell continue to score at their clip, then this game is going to be out of reach pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Alex King has just been unstoppable. 5 for 5 in shooting so far from here in today's game. And he's got the 10 points. And Josh Caldwell with 7. And Charlie Peterson with the final 2 for where things stand right now for 19 for Army. Walter White hands it off to Garrett Pascoe. Pascoe finds it to Petkash all the way across the court. Ethan Britton Watts, and he tries to pass it for Petkash, and there was some miscommunication. Petkash moved in the wrong direction, and he passes it right to the Army bench. And we have another break in the action here. 7 minutes, 58 seconds to go here in the first half. It is 19-9, Army over BU. So we just broke down Army's scoring, and for Boston University, there unfortunately is not much scoring to speak of. Walter White, 2 for 4 with 5 points, and then 2 points each for Jack Hemphill and Suk Matone. But Joe, you talked about it, and I've brought it up a couple of times as well. Story of BU's season so far, and one of the reasons that they've been pretty inconsistent with scoring is struggling to shoot from 3. And so far, we are just over 1/4 of the way through this game, and they're already 1 for 11. So they're taking those shots because they kind of have to, but they're not making it.
Yeah, our Army is really playing to BU's weaknesses. They're forcing them to take those shots. They know that they're not a great three-point shooting team, at least so far this season. They're forcing them to take those shots, and it's really been paying off for them, and that's the only way to defend them. BU has to find a way to get the ball under the basket and use some of their taller players to sort of make those shots beneath the basket and just try to get back and close this game. And obviously they need to stop Alex King from getting too far deep into their defensive zone.
Yeah, I mean, so far, King looks like the one-man wrecking crew that the Terriers could really use right now from somebody just stepping up a little bit and finding a way to get under the basket, as you said. He seems to just be going under the basket at will and scoring on the Terrier defense, and that's just a testament to how good of a scorer he can be and how much the Terrier defense has got to really step things up just a little bit more as we press onward in this game. Still in a little bit of a break in the action here. Army on the year, 6-3. They've split 4 Patriot League games. They are 2-2, having played 2 games against, as you said, the same 2 teams BU has played with Holy Cross and Colgate. And Colgate has done the same thing to Army that they did to the Terriers. As I said, the beginning of the action, BU got blown out by Colgate in their last performance against each other, 89-45. And Army suffered an even bigger blowout, 101-57. So Colgate was the other team that was really expected to be a heavyweight here in the Patriot League. They are 3-1 on the year. They were 12-6 in Patriot League action, and they were 12-6 in Patriot League action last season. And they are still right now at the top here as we have these new divisions set up in the Patriot League Northern Division with Colgate, Army, Holy Cross, and BU. BU at 1-3 right now, the only under 500 team. And they want to change that, no doubt. But so far here in this game, they are not in the right direction to shift their tides.
And we'll see what Coach Joe Jones, how he's going to set things up after this timeout. This is if there's going to be any turning point in the first half, this is going to be where it comes. A pretty long break there, full timeout. Army starts with the ball. And
for Army, the idea is just to keep doing what you've been doing because it sure as heck is working. Tucker Blackwell shooting for three. It's not going to make it. Rebound attempted to get picked up there by King, but Andrew Petkash will snag it. Sends it across the court to Garrett Pascoe. Pascoe finds Walter White. White, small passing lane, but he finds it. Now gets back from the center of the three-point line, shoots for three. Not going to make it. Another one that was pretty accurate, but tough spin and a tough bounce. Lonnie Grayson fouling on the play. Looks like he had fouled Garrett Pascoe. And boy, for Grayson, it looked like he was going to be set up there to take a shot and get on the board and scoring, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're calling him for, looks like a charge there. It's going to be BU ball. Nice break for them. Grayson obviously is very dangerous with the basketball, one of their leading scorers. Now's another chance for them to try to get double digits for the first time in this game.
Yeah, BU scoring has been pretty flat right now with 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go. BU has not scored any points in many minutes. It's been over 5 minutes since they last got onto the board. And with really tight two-man defense on him, Garrett Pascoe falling down. And the play is whistled dead. Looks like the Terriers will hold on to the ball as they go through a couple of substitutions. And, you could see the Terriers players here trying to kind of, for lack of a better term, ad-lib these plays here on the court. I'm sure that Coach Jones gave them an updated or revised game plan for how to shift the direction here, get the momentum back on their side. But one thing that we've really been seeing is just passing along the three-point arc or even from far behind it. BU is still unable to get close to under the basket, as you said, Joe. That's what they need. Here's Miles Brewster draining a three, and looks like he got fouled on the play. BU finally, after almost 6 straight minutes being held off the board, they finally reached double digits, 19-12. And more importantly, they drain a three-point shot. And Joe, go ahead.
Oh, it's just the Army defense. They're using this 2-3 zone to really put two guys and trapping them on the perimeter, really close down all the passing lanes. That's why all they can really do is fling it back and forth. Brewster with a much needed three there, and it was pretty nice as he was falling to the ground, chance for a 4-point play.
Yeah, if the 3-point shots are going to be all the opportunities that you're given by this defense, then they need to start capitalizing as Brewster drains the free throw. BU closes Army's lead down to 6. It is 19-13. Hopefully a direction change that BU desperately needs. Here's Aaron Duhart taking it down to the 3-point line. And Nick Fink with it. Hands it off to the corner. There's Tucker Blackwell, a deep pass from back behind the line. Handing it off to Lonnie Grayson. Into the corner, there is Blackwell. Blackwell sending it under for Aaron Duhart. Duhart shooting for 2, not going to make it. Offensive rebound snagged by Nick Fink. Here's Alex King for 3. No good. Rebound tipped out of bounds. And it looks like the official signaling that might have been Army's ball. He kind of moved his arm in the exact 2 ways that you would indicate who gets the ball here. And it looks like it is going to be Army's ball. So they aren't able to get the offensive rebound, but they're going to get to bring it back in and take another shot for themselves here. 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Josh Caldwell charging at it, hands it off to Aaron Duhart. Duhart looking for a lane to pass to, finds Nick Fink, and he will drain it in for 2. So Army with a lot of time and a lot of chances there to score a couple of points, and it looks like they're going to get 2 on the board here.
They didn't change the score. It looks like they might have. I've got the game muted, so I can't really hear what the officials are doing.
I'm confused. It looked like that shot went in, so I'm not sure what happened there, but the shot does not count. We'll try to give you. No, they are saying the shot did not make it in. So I guess my eyes deceived me. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Still 19-13 with 5:47 to go. And ball either looked like it went out of bounds there. It's going to be a turnover. Army's ball. And this is another thing that Army's been doing, Joe. We haven't talked about it that much. Is BU is going to get a chance to bring it back in. But not only have they been scoring better and playing excellent defense, but it seems like they just have the ball for way longer. They're getting way more opportunities by just keeping the ball away from BU. They're doing a fantastic job with it.
Yeah, they're really taking their time moving with shots as Walter White nails a 3-point shot right there. It's only a 3-point game now at this point after the Terriers have been trailing for so long. But Army really seems to be working the Terriers man defense and really just finding all the open lanes that are available.
And this is This is an extremely high risk, high reward offense for the Terriers as Josh Caldwell drains two. That one definitely went in for Army. They get a lead back to 5, 21-16. But if the Terriers are going to be limited to 3-point shots and those are the only ones they can take, then that's what they have to work with. And Walter White looks like he fouled on the play as he was trying to charge through and take a closer shot. But if BU's going to be forced to take a bunch of threes and then they get on a roll like they may be starting to get on here where they're draining threes, that's dangerous too, because you're letting up these high-risk shots. But if they just keep making them, then you're done as a defense. Then you got to change things up and stop them from shooting threes.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an entire team, just struggle from three to start out a season as much as the Terriers have. Obviously you'll see a player from here and there not able to get their shot up, but when it's the whole team that's having a problem, it's either bad luck or, I don't even know what to say it is, what that is. That's just something I've never seen. So their luck probably should change throughout the season, and maybe it'll come in this game.
Alex King fouling Walter White on the play, his second. White nailing the first free throw, and he will look to drain the second one. And he will. It is a 3-point game once again, 21-18. BU very much taking advantage of this momentum shift here after going about 5 solid minutes without scoring. In the last 2.5 or so, they have scored 9 points to double their total, and now they trail by 3. Army charging, looking to take a shot from under the BU basket, and there's nothing there. Garrett Pascoe takes the rebound. Suk Matone to the corner for Andrew Petkash. And Matone, a long pass across the court to Walter White. We've seen a lot of that as BU just trying to do these strange passes here, crazy ones, and just trying to get any kind of shot open. Walter White for 3. That one nearly airballed, not his best shot. And he can drain so many threes. You're not going to drain them all, but not the best shot there from Walter White. Here's Aaron Duhart trying to take a shot here. Great defense from Miles Brewster. He's forced to pass it back. The long 3, and it is drained by Alex King. Boy, that's just tough right there, Joe. Great defense from Miles Brewster, not giving anything to Aaron Duhart. But Alex King, whether that's from right under the basket or from behind the 3-point line, he is still having his way with the Terrier defense.
Yeah, that was right from the corner too. And it looks like the Terriers are really starting to close in on guys that are getting into the paint, which is something they need to do with Army just charging to the basket and really getting all those points in the paint. That's a proper adjustment and has been paying off so far.
Yeah, they've so far kept the lead for Army at or under 6 points. 3-point attempt from Garrett Pascoe is no good. Ball is still in play. It looked like the Terriers stopped there for a second, and there was a whistle from the officials. Nick Fink got the shot off, but wouldn't have made it in anyway. 3 minutes, 37 seconds to go as there was another break in the action here. It is 24-18. Army leading the BU Terriers. Army still has the lead, and as far as I can tell, they never relinquished it. The game was tied for a short while at 9-9, but as far as I remember here in this game, BU has not had a lead. Army jumped out to that 5-0 lead, and that's really set the tone. BU's been trailing ever since.
Yeah, and neither team has been, tremendous offensively, at least from all 5 guys on the court standpoint. We've talked about Alex King throughout the game, just really dominating under the basket. But you look at the shooting numbers for both teams. Army 11 for 24. That's pretty good. But from 3 points, they're only 2 for 8 so far, 25%. And the Terriers obviously just 3 for 16. 18% or just under 19%. And that's really going to have to change, as we've been saying it over and over. If those are the only shots that they're going to get, they're going to have to find some other way to run the offense or, just really get those shots in. And, it seemed like their luck was picking up a little bit there, but, not so much throughout the game, but still 6 points easily overcome. That's not a big lead by any stance. So this really could go anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the field goal percentages for these two teams. And unfortunately, right now, with just the offensive woes from the last Colgate game, right now, it's not really a surprise. It's obviously a bit disappointing for Coach Jones's offense because we've seen with the talent that so much of the talent that helped this team win the Patriot League championship last year has returned with, additional players returning like Damon Tate, who had to redshirt last season, plus a couple of freshman recruits like Miles Brewster and Anthony Morales, who have had some time on the court. There's so much talent from all the different classes, from seniors all the way down to the freshmen. But so slow out of the gate here, not something you really expected to see, and something that this team is going to need to adjust to as their heavy and action-packed Patriot League season is really just starting to get underway. That's one of the things that we mentioned earlier was Army is playing in their 10th game here as they play the Terriers. For BU, it's just their 5th. Obviously, with the way things have gone in Boston and with the Patriot League scheduling and all that, one thing has led to another, and BU has only played in 4 games up to this point. But one last note here, Joe, as action resumes, Army has a few players on their team who are really excellent and accurate shooters, namely Alex King, and we've seen that. He's shooting at 58.1% from the field. He's incredibly accurate, and we have seen that here so far. But others, guys like number 12, Nick Fink, he's come off the bench a few times. He averages 20 minutes of action off the bench, and he's draining almost 70% of the shots he takes as Jack Hemphill drains a contested 2-pointer. And BU will close the gap to 4 as they trail 24-20 and look like he may have been fouled on the play. He's going to get a couple of free throws here.
No, look, they're calling it against him. It seems like, yeah, that I'm not really sure what the call was there. It seemed like Army was making contact. They're calling it a offensive foul on Hemphill. So
and he's going to lose.
Joe Jones is not happy at all. He is.
Yeah, honestly, and we unfortunately we can't actually show you Coach Jones's reaction, but it is. It's frustrating to watch Coach Jones look so frustrated. It is a little bit entertaining, though. He is never afraid to, and he will never hide his emotions. When things are going right, he will be as amped up as the players. When he is angry or upset with a call or with his team, equally as emotional, and he's not going to be afraid to show it as Nick Fink drains the layup. Andrew Petkash and Jack Hemphill handing it back and forth. Petkash hands it off to Anthony Morales. Morales looking to find a lane to pass it to. Sends it across to Petkash. Petkash stays back behind the line, shoots for 3 and drains it. 26-21. Petkash finally draining a 3-pointer. He had one earlier in the game that we believe was not counted because the shot clock had run out. Always tough to see something like that happen. 3-point shot here coming from Army, made by Jalen Rucker. Not going to land it. And it'll be BU's ball. Nice to see BU again. They're draining these 3-pointers, Joe, and this is what they've got to do. This is the only clear lane they've got to scoring. And it's obviously, as I said, it is high risk, high reward, but when it's all you've got to work with, you've got to use it. And they're starting to do that a little bit better.
Yeah, and you look at their personnel, it seems like they've got some of their better shooters on the floor, along with Suk Matone, who has been playing out in the perimeter, but is obviously can be a force under the boards. So they're looking to use their personnel to try to get back into this game with those 3-point shots.
As long as they're working, you might as well keep using them. Here is Suk Matone looking for a pass instead, takes the shot and drains it for 2. And again, Suk Matone has gotten to double-digit points in all 4 of his games this season. He hasn't done too much in the scoring department yet in this game. Still plenty of game to go. 1 minute 54 here in the first half. And then a whole nother 20 minutes will come your way as soon as that concludes. Matone up to 4 points. Terriers' leading scorer, Walter White, he's got 10 so far. No other Terrier has more than 4. 4 for Suk Matone, 4 for Miles Brewster, 3 for Andrew Petkash on that first 3 that he drained, and Jack Hemphill has 2 points for himself. And a really aggressive charge down the court, and one of the Army players laying out as he travels past the boundaries of the court. That was Tucker Blackwell. And it looks like he's going to get couple of opportunities here to shoot a free throw. 1:49 to go. Army's lead down to 3, but these free throws can start to extend it again. And again, Coach Joe Jones not looking super happy on the sideline right now, even though the Terriers have started to get much more back into this game. I would imagine he's got to be pretty frustrated with the fact that they're still not taking too many shots from inside that perimeter.
Yeah, I mean, they've really been relying on the 3-point shot, and as it's been this entire year, has not been their strength, and that's one of the main reasons why they're trailing so far. And there was a graphic that came up coming in after this break that showed they've been trailing for pretty much the entire season. There have only been 22 minutes out of 160 minutes played where they have not been trailing, or where it's been tied, or they've been leading. So they've been playing from behind pretty much this entire season so far, and that shooting's a huge reason why.
Well, Joe, my internet is having a bit of technical difficulties here. So while I fix it, I'm going to have you take over here. Hand over the reins of the play-by-play to you. You'd be doing it in the second half anyway, but I got to fix my technical difficulties here, so I'm going to turn it over to you for a minute here.
All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully Moltz can get his internet checked out as Britton Watts passes it. Soup Matone now has it at the point. Pisses it to Petkash. Sorry, getting a little bit wow. Okay. Sorry. Getting it on the fly here, a little bit unprepared. But
sorry, Joe. I got my technical difficulties fixed, so we are.
Yeah, it'll sound better in the second half. Just taking a little bit of back here. So it's 30-23 right now. Army's got the lead. 52 seconds left. And Moltz, you said you're set, or?
Yeah, I am back. Not sure what happened there. I hope that doesn't happen again. With the way that we've got this set up here, we are reliant on our ability to watch what's going on, and then we can provide our commentary to you. And 52 seconds to go, as you said, Joe. 30-23. The Terriers are going to want to close out this first half on a high note and just get things back to within a bit more of a surmountable deficit. 7 points is by no means difficult to overcome, but they want to get it closer to 5 or maybe even 3. Here's Ethan Britton Watts, a one-man charge through the Army defense. He goes for 2, and he just misses. Army going to try to drain out the shot clock here, and looks like we have a stoppage from the officials. Looks like there might have been a foul on the play. Looks like maybe Ethan Britton Watts here looking a bit surprised as he gets the ball back in his hands. And we'll try to get some clarification here with what's going on. He was charged with a personal foul on the play. So Army is going to get the ball here. 29.2 seconds left and 24 seconds on the shot clock. That's where things stood before this play. So looks like it is going to be Aaron Duhart, who was fouled on the play. He will take the free throws. BU will get the ball back, and the shot clock will reset. So if BU ends up being down by 8 or 9 points here, they're going to have one last possession here. They can just kill off the clock and try to take one last good shot and close the deficit.
Yeah, of course, the shot clock's only 30. There's less than 30 seconds left, so they're going to be able to hold the basket, hold the ball until the final shot, as Duhart nails the second free throw.
So 32-23 is the lead for Army, and BU will get their last chance here to score. And as you can see, Ethan Britton Watts just taking things slowly as the Terriers. There's no shot clock to worry about, so just all you can do at this point is keep the ball out of Army's hands, and Britton Watts isn't really getting close to shooting territory yet. Terriers finally here with about 10 seconds to go, finally going to ramp up the offense and try to take that shot. Here's Walter White for 3, and it's no good. Rebound picked up by Tucker Blackwell. One last charge here from Army. They're going to get to the three-point line. Blackwell for 3, and he kind of just shovels it. Rebound attempt shot, not going to make it either. So a couple of shots there right at the end for in the final 4 or 5 seconds for Army. They will not make it. That will close out the first half of this contest, first of 2 in this weekend matchup between the Black Knights of Army and the Terriers of Boston University. And it is 32-23. Army leads it heading into the first half. And Joe, before we head into our break, before we come back for the second half, one big positive, one big negative from the Terriers from what you've seen so far.
Well, I guess the big negative off the top we've been talking about is just they're not able to get the offensive shots that would really benefit them. They're really just forcing it from 3. That's all the open looks they're getting, but they've really had a hard time just trying to get in under the basket and try to get those makeup points with the 2-point shots. And the positive, they're letting Alex King get under the basket. They've let a few drives go in, but otherwise they haven't been too terrible with their defense. They've obviously the 32-23 halftime score. That's the biggest lead of the half, if I remember correctly. They've really been keeping it close otherwise. So that defense needs to tighten up just a little bit, but otherwise hasn't been their falling point.
Yeah, I believe Army got their lead at one point. They got the lead up to 10, but 10 that was way back when, with just about 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. And since then, BU has kept it under 10, but right as they really started to close things back in, BU had shrunk the lead for Army back down to 3 points. They got it down to 26-23 before Army slipped back away and scored another 6 unanswered points to close out the first half. Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. Then, other than Alex King, who has, as we've said a couple of times already, he's really just having his way with BU's defense. Other than him and his 13 points, So far, it hasn't been a horrendous defensive effort. And barring an absolute surge from Army in the second half, BU will not let up the 79.8 points that they have averaged allowing. And that's a huge positive. And that's going to wrap it up here for our first half coverage of BU versus Army men's basketball here live on YouTube from WTBU Sports. We're going to take a break. And when we come back live, Joe Pohorilis on the play-by-play for second half action between the Black Knights and the Terriers. Stay tuned.
All right. Hello, everyone. We are back with the second half of Boston University men's basketball versus Army. The second half has already gotten underway. Army's the 32-23 lead as BU started with the ball in the second half. Suk Matone struggling under the basket, passes out to Walter White, who drives in and gets the layup, but it's blocked away, and he falls down to the court. Army's got the ball back, passes it down low to Charlie Peterson, who is wide open for the dunk. It's 34-23 Army.
Yeah, tough start there for the Terriers. They get the ball right out of the gate, and then they don't get their shots off, and Army charges down the court and scores with a statement and with ease. That is not a good way to start things off.
And Tate with a wide open shot from three. It's in. It's starting their first three-point attempt. Goes in from Damon Tate. It's 34-26 Army.
Yeah, Damon Tate is a player that I think Coach Jones really wants to see start to rebound further as the season goes on here, as Alex King gets 2 more points to get on the board. Damon Tate had a double-double in his season opener with 26 points and 10 rebounds, and in none of the 3 contests since has he's averaged 4 rebounds and has barely averaged 5 points a game. So it's been 2 different players between game 1 and 2 through 4.
And Tate a little bit off the mark there as he was trying to get to Matone inside. It looks like they are trying to work the ball around the basket, try to feed inside as we figured they probably should have done last half, but Tate off the mark on that throw. It's going to be Army basketball bringing the ball up. It's Jalen Rucker with the ball, taking it past half court. It's Alex King working the ball. Feeds it off to Lonnie Grayson. Grayson working with White. Back to Rucker. Moves it to Charlie Peterson. Peterson back to King at the top. He attempts the 3. It's off the mark. And Pasco gets the rebound. Walter White with the ball now. He's at the top of the key. Off to Tate on the side. White back to Pasco on the right wing now. Matone at the top of the key. Over to Britton Watts. Watts stumbles a little bit, drives in, and he's going to be Peterson on Army. He's going to be called for the tripping foul there. No, that's the first foul of the half. It'll be BU's ball still.
And, you give credit to Ethan Britton Watts for charging until after the play was whistled dead. But the fact of the matter is that pretty much for the rest of that possession, the Terriers were still just passing it around the rim, not able to get a really close angle and take a more guaranteed 2-pointer.
And they tried to feed Matone under the basket, but he was unable to make the layup there. Walter White got the rebound and was sort of shoved out of bounds by Alex King, so it's going to stay BU ball again. And it looks like it's going to be a foul as well, I think, if not just a regular inbounded pass.
Yeah, they are calling that the 3rd personal foul of the game for Alex King.
And Matone starts the ball at the baseline, finds it out to Damon Tate towards the top. It's called for traveling, was unable to secure the ball, so it's going to be a turnover, and Army starts with the ball again. Not an ideal start. Tate, obviously, with a very nice 3-point shot to start the game, but has now committed 2 turnovers in 2 possessions in a row. As Rucker brings the ball down.
Couldn't really grasp the ball, and as the ball slips out of his hands, it ends up resulting in a travel.
Rucker drives in, bounces the ball off the backboard and unable to get a good shot. Terrier defense swarmed in. Pasco brings the ball up, brings it to White, down to Tate. Open, drives in, and it's called for a turnover again, I believe. I didn't see exactly what it was. Maybe he stepped out of bounds, but that's the 3rd turnover from Damon Tate in 3 subsequent possessions. So not a great start for him, but it does seem like he had the right idea. He's found the opening, drove to the basket, just wasn't able to execute there.
Yeah, that must have been that he stepped out of bounds because it didn't really look like any foulable plays happened, and we really can't see quite to the line of the court. That is closer to us from the camera angle that we have.
So Alex King's working underneath, and he just made it look so easy on that layup. It's now 38-26 in Army's favor. That's their largest lead of the game, and BU is really going to have to start working here as Walter White is double-teamed towards the top, finds Tate. Tate finds Matone under the basket. He's got 2 guys working underneath him. He goes for the shot and makes the layup there. It's back to a 10-point deficit for BU as that's Aaron Duhart carrying the ball up for Army.
Yeah, and for Suk Matone, those are the types of shots he needs to take more. He's got to get more active right under the basket. That's one of the easiest ways for him at 6'10" to score.
Lonnie Grayson is unable to convert from 3-point land. Walter White gets the rebound. He's bringing it up the court. He drives in, tries to get it to Matone under the basket. They're trying to feed him, and Matone was fouled, but the shot does not count as it went up there. And it seems like Maltz, as you're saying, they're really starting to feed him underneath. I think that's the only way they're going to get back into this game unless, the Army's making a substitution right now.
And a big part of the reason why I say that is because that's what made, last season and in seasons past, the deadly duo of Suk Matone and Max Mahoney. Those two guys were able to do that so well. And now really a lot of that is the responsibility of Matone and Jack Hemphill. And those two guys, as I've said, are very good players and very capable scorers. They just need to get their chances to do that.
As White drives to the basket, he's got a lot of contact, but drives through and makes the layup. That was an impressive drive by Walter White. But Army's quick back down the court. And Josh Caldwell gets fouled on the layup attempt. It's a really fast break. Obviously, there haven't been too many shots made, too many fast break attempts, but Caldwell really got the ball rolling there and drove through contact to connect on that layup.
Yeah, really impressive. A lot of Terrier defenders all around him. Still gets just enough on the shot to get it up and into the basket. And I got to tell you, Joe, 4 minutes into this second half, and there's been a lot more action than we had seen in many 4-minute segments of the first half of this game. And I think, as we've gotten things rolling here, for whatever reason, Lonnie Grayson, who entering this game, as we said, was the highest average scorer for Army at over 12 points per game, he still has nothing. And despite that, the Terriers really don't seem to be able to stop Josh Caldwell or Alex King, who are the other two big scorers. Those two guys alone are responsible for 28 of Army's 40 points. King with 17 and Caldwell with 11. And the one thing that has not changed, while BU's defense has generally been decent all across the game, except against King, you have to figure out some way to control Alex King and keep him in check. He's landed a shot from three. He's 8 for 10 in total from the field. He's a wrecking ball right now. And
he's really getting under the basket.
He is just in complete cruise control.
Yeah, and the turnovers were about even entering the second half. BU ended the first half with 10 turnovers, Army with 9. BU's now up to 13. They've had 3 turnovers, all of those by Damon Tate. He's been shooting the ball fairly well, at least to start the half, and that was a good way to cut the lead down a bit, but that's been costly for the Terriers here, and it seems like their numbers are working up a little bit. They're shooting just 32% from the field. And that may have partially to do to driving the ball to Baton under the basket, but still 10-point deficit. Sort of been talking about all this stuff all game, but Daniel, what do you think the Terriers really need to build on in this half to try to cut this lead?
Well, I think we just brought it up, and I think one thing you have to build on, you have to find some way to break Army's defense. BU, while they have been more successful than in recent games at shooting from three, there's just, and this is obviously common knowledge, but it's just, you can't sustain an offense when you're shooting more than a large portion of your shots from three. I mean, it's unsustainable. BU has taken a lot of shots from three, and, they are 5 for 19, but Joe, more than half of all of their shots are from behind the 3-point line. That's unsustainable. Even if they're 5 for 19, which really isn't bad. That's not bad. And it's certainly a way better improvement from that 1 for 29 mark you talked about earlier on in the broadcast. But they've taken 12 shots from inside the arc. That's insane. There needs to be more. And if they don't do that, it's an unsustainable offensive game.
Yeah, no, and we're back now with 16 minutes to go in the game, 40-30 in Army's favor. Caldwell shooting the 3-pointer on his and one, or the free throw rather, and he misses it, and Pasco gets the rebound. BU's bringing it up. Finds Walter White at the top of the key, over to Petkash. Petkash to Hemphill. They're still working the perimeter up as Pasco gets the ball. That's a shot from Petkash, and it's off the rim, and Aaron Duhart with the rebound, bringing the ball up. Drives in, finds Alex King under the basket. He tries to tip it up, but it ends up in Caldwell's hands. Goes to Chris Madden. This seems like one of his first appearances in the game for Army. Madden over underneath to Finke, and Fink gets it in. Pasco's bringing the ball up. It's 42-30 with just over 15 minutes to go.
And again, on the last possession we had for BU before Army drained those 2 points, what have we been saying and what have we been seeing here is they are just unable to consistently find an offense inside the 3-point line. It's just, for whatever reason, It's just not there.
Yeah, Army playing pretty strong defense. It's going to be an inbound ball after another foul from Army. It's Hemphill under the basket trying to work under. Goes for the layup attempt, and it does not fall, but gets his own rebound. Pass underneath to Brewster, out to White. White fakes the three-point shot, drives in a little bit. It's a stumble, and it's going to be a charge on Walter White, and it'll be Army's ball here.
Yeah, it looked like Walter White. He had a decent shot there for a three from the corner, chose not to go for it, charge up for two. And to be honest, I know 100% of the time, the closer you get, it's a higher percentage of going in. But right now, BU just seems to be much more reliant, way too heavily reliant on the three-pointer. But for someone like Walter White, who can drain those with ease, I feel like he should have taken the three-point shot.
Yeah, and Army's really doing a good job passing the ball, working under the basket. Sweet behind the back pass by Fink up to Mark Madden, it seems like, or under the basket. That was just a nasty pass.
Unbelievable. That's the most beautiful pass I've seen today. I don't think anything's going to top that.
And White finds Brewster under the basket. Brewster kicks it out to Petkash. Petkash back to Brewster at the top of the key. Brewster works into Hemphill. Hemphill can't find the shot. Looks for White under the basket, but it looks like it was tipped by Army, and that's the case. Was not able to find Walter White. It's still going to be BU's ball, but the passing just was off the mark. The Army is able to get a hand on it. Still BU's ball under the basket, but 44-30 lead maintained. It's now the highest lead again, 14 points for Army, and BU needs to find some answers quick if they want to get back into this game.
Yeah, Army leading the scoring here 12-7 in the second half, and BU's offense just sporadic at best.
And White's attempt from the left wing just short. Rebound by Army. Caldwell's bringing it down. He passes it off to Mark Madden. They're at the top of the key now. Fink works in, but he's called for the travel, so it's going to be another turnover for Army, and it's going to be BU's ball.
Yeah, and for BU, all you can really say at this point is that, defensively, you have to keep forcing these turnovers, and you have to keep getting the ball back. The more chances they get, that's the only way they're going to be able to even have a chance here to right the ship offensively. They just need more chances, and they've got to find a way to break these ranks defensively for Army. It's not working yet, and there's still plenty of time in this game, but it is starting to slip away a little bit unless things change right here, right now.
Still working the perimeter. Pasco's got the ball now on the right wing. He's fouled a little bit. Yeah, he's some trouble there, and it seems like he was fouled by Charlie Peterson. The Army could find themselves in the bonus pretty soon. It seems like they've gotten at least 4 or 5 pretty early in this half. And it'll be BU's ball still, but they have not been able to capitalize off these fouls and inbounding from the opposing baseline.
Yeah, and for Charlie Peterson, this is actually a little bit of an aspect of his game that, has some pros and cons. 4th personal foul already in the game for Peterson. And despite the fact that he averages just about 16 minutes on the court per game, he already has 18 personal fouls entering this game and chalk 4 more up there.
Yeah, and Pasco's pass was intercepted by King. It finds Rucker under the basket. He shoots it. Nice mid-range hook. Lead up to 16 now for Army. As BU brings the ball down, Britton Watts is double-teamed a bit. Passes to Hemphill on the right side. Hemphill tries to go in, but it's another stoppage in play. Couldn't tell right away what it was, but it seems like it's staying on this side of the court, so possibly like another Army foul.
Yeah, it looked like it was a foul on Alex King, and he had a bit of an adverse reaction to after the whistle was blown. And for Alex King, that's bad news too, because that's his 4th personal foul of the game. Now, in less than a minute, King and Peterson both collect their 4th personal fouls of the game. They're racking them up here in the second half.
Yeah, that foul trouble could come in handy for the Terriers, as they may need to rely on the charity stripe to get back into this game, as slowly and surely as that is. Mahone under the basket, faces a lot of pressure, but unable to finish on the other end. Army gets the rebound. It's Rucker with the ball. He's driving through. Nice behind the back move. Can't find any work. Passes back out to Lonnie Grayson. Grayson at the point. Passes it back out to Rucker. Rucker pretty on the BU logo right now, trying to scale out his options. Shot clock down to 12. He's working around, creates some space for himself. Keeps the ball. Rucker going in. Passes it out. Grayson's got the ball now. Coming in. 3 seconds left. He drives in, and he finishes. Just a great possession by Army. just waiting for the open look, and Grayson's able to finish with a nice lefty layup.
Yeah, great defense there for a while from the Terriers. They wouldn't let Grayson or Rucker get anywhere close to the basket, but a late charge as the shot clock counts down to 0. And as you said, great finish there by Army.
And as you say that, Matone turns it over. Grayson's got the ball at the right wing, passes it back to Rucker. Rucker drives in, passes it out to, couldn't quite see who that was. It was, I believe it was Duhart. No, it was Jared Cross, who's in the game right now. He misses the 3. Brewster returns with a 3 of his own, and that looked like it swished, but I think it went underneath and sort of an air ball of sorts.
Brewster did not put enough mustard on it.
Yeah, Hemphill misses his own attempt, so it's still 48-30 with 11.5 to go. Rucker's got the ball now for Army. Spots up from 3, shoots it, and it bricks off there. And Matone ends up with the rebound. Pasco bringing the ball down the court.
That was a kind of lackadaisical effort for a rebound from Matt Dove. He was the only one around the ball, and he didn't really go for it, but Army gets the ball back anyway. Just something to note for Dove, who hasn't seen too much time on the court today.
Yeah, Dove seeing his first minutes right now in this game, and Army still working the ball. Dove passes it off to Rucker. Rucker drives in, sees an opening, but 2 players collide, and that was Rucker and I believe it was Brewster, who looks a bit slow to get up. He's still down. And Rucker's walking off the court, and it seems like it's going to a TV timeout. So we'll see what the call is there. But it's 48-30 Army with 10:55 to go in the game. And pretty much just seeing more of the same right now as far as this game's going.
Yeah, unfortunately, BU's offense has really stalled. And we saw this for about a 5-minute portion of the first half of this game, where they weren't necessarily letting Army score as many points as we're seeing Army score here in the second half. But Army has had this now in both halves where they just keep BU off the board. BU is left to take high-risk shots that are not getting drained, and the few chances that they get to get close to the basket, none of them are really making it. And one more thing to note, Joe, we didn't talk about this, but something to note was 2 of BU's more frequent starters and guys who see plenty of time and plenty of action on the court, Javante McCoy and Fletcher Tynan, both inactive for today's game. And, you know, we would have had to see how that affected it. Tynan had started all 4 of BU's games and had only scored 18 total points on the season, averaging 4.5 a game, but he was a rebound machine with 16 total rebounds over the course of the 4 games that he played. And for Javante McCoy, the senior who has been one of the Terriers' more active scorers, he has already missed another game. He's had 3 total appearances, just 2 starts, and he has averaged 16 points a game in the 3 games that he's played. So that is clearly a big loss for the Terriers. And that may have a little bit of an explanation for why the offense is just, it hasn't looked really the same. It kind of looks right now like it looked in their second game against Colgate, where they were held to 45 points. And while they are certainly playing a less bad defensive game here, as Army, barring a blowout of all blowouts in the greatest 10-minute or 11-minute run I've ever seen, is going to score 40 points here. But barring that, the defense has done relatively better, but offensively, things are still completely out of whack here.
Yeah, they're definitely missing out on Javante McCoy. He's the main ball handler for the team. Obviously, they got a handful of guys here, but in this game, Britton Watts, Pasco, Walter White, Damon Tate, even they've all been taking turns carrying the ball down the court. It hasn't really been consistent in terms of who's running the offense here, and that, as you just said, could be a big reason as to why they've been struggling so far this game. But the shooting just has not been there. It's a little bit better, but yeah, what were you going to say?
Yeah, one other thing quickly to note here before play resumes, and they were just showing it on a graphic, and this is another thing I was waiting to bring up, was that BU in their last 3 games have scored fewer points in the second half than in the first. They've not been able, whatever offense they are able to muster up in the first half, it slows down. And so far, that is what we have been seeing here in this game. And then some 23 points in the first half so far here, only 7 with about 10 and a half minutes to go. Now, things can obviously pick up, but the trend would suggest that they are not on pace to rack up a ton more points in this game. I hope that changes. But right now, the offense is, as I said, is totally out of whack. And all the signs point to it not getting fixed enough here with the rest of this game to go.
Yeah, and Army missed 2 easy chances to open the play back up again, and it was BU's ball. They were trying to work it down into Matone, but Army was able to stick an arm in there and bounce it out of bounds. So it will stay on this side of the court. Britton Watts is inbounding the ball, and it's a little bit static. Walter White goes to the wing. They ended up popping it back out to Matone near the 3-point line. He's looking for an option, and he ends up with Britton Watts on the left side. Back out to Morales at the point. Damon Tate goes up with a 3, and it just hits short of the rim. Jalen Rucker with the rebound. He's bringing the ball back up for the Black Knights. Goes up to Lonnie Grayson. Grayson initiates contact, but drives right in. And man, that was an acrobatic looking layup. I'll see if the basket counts. He was fouled on the play, but seems like they're going to call the foul before the basket. So that was just some really, oh no, they are counting the basket actually. So that'll be an and one for Lonnie Grayson. Just a beautiful drive in, really building off the contact and finishing at the rim.
And as Army now gets to a 20-point lead for the Black Knights, good to see Lonnie Grayson starting to get on the board. We talked about it a few times, how the trio of him, Josh Caldwell, and Alex King have been the focal points of the offense, and it's nice to see Grayson starting to get back and more involved in the action for Army. For their sakes, the fact that now they've got seemingly all three members of that trio who all average double-digit points, now that they're all going, that is just unfortunately more bad news for the Terriers here.
Yeah, and he nails his free throw, and it's the Terrier ball on the other side. Walter White with the ball, spots up a 3, and it bounces off the front of the rim yet again. That is Quabena Davis with the rebound. This is his first time in the game. Grayson pulls up from 3 on his own, and he swishes it, and it's 54-30 in Army's favor as they continue to stretch this lead. Grayson really lighting up in this second half.
Man, this is just all Army right now, and it's tough to watch, Joe, because the Terriers there's going to be a foul on the play here. But, with the Terriers, it just seems like offensively, as we've talked about, things are looking really sluggish. And now it seems to the point where they see the game is slipping away, and they are taking these especially high-risk threes that are not from the greatest spot along the arc or from not the closest distance as possible. And they're just setting themselves up to miss these shots. And, they've already shot 24 threes with 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go. They're going to end up with more than that. They're still not taking enough shots from inside that arc. And in total, they're shooting 25.6% from the field. That's how you end up with 31 points through 31 minutes of basketball. They've got to do better. And I'm not sure what needs to change here, but something's gotta, if they want to even try to make this game close again.
Yeah, and Caldwell fouled Pasco on the attempt for a steal, and Pasco nails both free throws. So it's 54-32 as Army's got the ball. It's another stoppage and play. Britton Watts is called for the foul against Aaron Duhart at the top of the key, and it'll be Army ball inbounding in. That's only did you see how many? Not too many fouls for the Terriers in this half, though. That might be the only positive from this point, is Army's committed a ton of fouls to start the half.
Absolutely, they have committed quite a few fouls. 7 for Army, and now BU. According to Go Terriers, is up to 6.
Yeah, Britton Watts was just called again right after the inbound, so they're gonna notch it up a little bit. BU's already in the bonus now, as you just mentioned, and Duhart will start with the ball right by the logo, surveying his options. Kicks it out to Alex King, who tries a deep 3, and that goes in as well. And Alex King is doing it from all over the court. It's 57-32. 25, and this is really getting out of hand for the Terriers as Britton Watts brings it back up to Matone. Pasco tries to get it around, kicks it to Tate, but Army hand gets in the way, and they're calling it a foul again. That's against Lonnie Grayson. He stuck his hand in there, and Terriers in the bonus. They're going to be shooting from the foul line from here on out. There's 8.5 minutes left, so maybe they can slowly chink away on this lead here, but it'll take a lot of good shooting. Damon Tate's at the line.
Yeah, and you mentioned Alex King, who has just been a wrecking crew all on his own. He's up to 20 points for this game. And while we have had some good things to say about the Terrier defense at certain points throughout this game, Joe, what's one thing we've been saying has been a problem? The problem is Alex King. It doesn't seem to matter where he shoots from. They have no answers for him.
Yeah, and Tate missed his free throw, so it was Army's ball again. He lunged in for a steal on their last possession there, and it looks like it's a foul against him. Army is now also in the bonus, so we going to see a lot of free throws from here on out, and it's Aaron Duhart at the line.
I believe now we're up to 15 total fouls between these two teams in this half. I mean, there has been a lot of sloppier play in this game from both sides.
Duhart nails the free throw. His Army's got some substitutions coming on, and he'll prep for the second shot. It's 58-32, 8 minutes, 24 seconds left in the game. And he nails the second free throw. And it's going to be Britton Watts bringing the ball down. We'll see how they handle this. They're probably going to see more threes at this point. But Tate drives in and goes for a nice two-handed slam. The Army was falling asleep on the back end there and let Tate in for the easy bucket. But a nice pass in, and Army responds right away with Caldwell, the assist from, I believe it was Mark Madden, but it was a nice pass from Black Knights, and it's still 61-34 in their favor.
That's some fast-paced back-and-forth action where everybody's answering the call. That's something we really haven't seen here. Been a lot of Army scoring, not a lot of BU scoring. Nice to see these two teams. Army may still be scoring, but BU is finally answering back a little bit.
Yeah, Matone finds Walter White under the basket. He brings a layup of his own. It's 61-36. Aaron Duhart bringing the ball down, challenging Britton Watts. Passes out to Madden, who gives it to Caldwell. Caldwell finds Grayson at the top of the key, down to Mark Fink. Nice pass, bounce pass to Mark Madden. He finishes with a right hand under the basket. Army, really nice passes underneath to get some nice assists there for them. That's, they're really finding a way to get inside this BU defense. As Damon Tate gives it to White, he's got an open shot on the wing, and that goes in. Good shot from White, 39. Brings Terriers up to 39 with 7 minutes left. They're still trailing by 24. As Grayson brings it up. Grayson now has the ball. Challenging Tate downstairs, kicks it out to Mark Madden, who shoots, but that shot won't count. There was a foul called. Looks like Grayson's going to the foul line.
Looks like the foul's going to be charged on Damon Tate. That'll be his third. And man, it's really unfortunate, Joe, what's happened in the last 90 seconds or so, because right when BU's offense has started to get things back into gear, I mean, in the last minute and 30 seconds, the Terriers have scored 9 points or 7 points in the last 90 seconds. So they got something going. The problem is Army's had an answer for every single shot. Every time BU has scored, Army has had the response. And yeah, that's the first time we've really seen BU get their offense back into gear, but they're not only still trailing by 24, as you said, but they're being outscored in this half by 15 points, 31-16 by Army. Army is on pace right now to score more than the 32 they notched in the first half. BU at this point, in this second half, we've seen two totally different offenses. We've seen an offense that's gone 6 or 7 minutes without scoring a point, and then an offense that scores 7 points in 90 seconds. Not sure which one we're going to see with the 6 minutes, 54 seconds to go here. But even if BU does manage to match or even beat their first half score of 23, it doesn't look like that's going to be enough. They're going to need to start scoring at Army's level and then stop Army from scoring. And
yeah, you said it.
The latter doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Yeah. That was the first time all game that the Terriers have scored 3 possessions in a row. They really started to get things clicking, but you said it. The Black Knights are responding every single time. And this lead now stretched to 24. They've got, as you said, 15-point lead just in this half alone. They've outscored the Terriers, and both teams are on the bonus, so that advantage is sort of wiped out from either side. We're probably going to see a lot of foul shots down the stretch as this game continues on. But it's not necessarily out of reach, but the way the Terriers have been shooting so far this game, it's not looking too good for the Terriers.
Yeah, and another thing to point out as well is that BU, as I said right before we went to our intermission break, the Terriers have been trailing in the whole game. They've never had a lead. And, it's tough enough to win these types of games when you are kind of struggling to shoot as much as BU is. But the mental aspect of it, when you are just going along through an entire game knowing you've never had the lead and now they're down by 24, it's going to take one heck of a change in momentum, both in stopping Army and getting BU's offense going. Those two things need to happen at dramatic levels. And it could happen. Anything's possible, but not looking really likely here. And BU needs to just stop Army from scoring. If Army keeps scoring like they are, the game's over.
Yeah, and that was Lonnie Grayson at the line. He got his 9th point on that bonus 1-1 shot. He's going to get his second shot here. And it's good. It'll 65-39 in Army's favor. Garrett Pascoe is bringing the ball down.
And Joe, you
just
talked
under 7 minutes to go. Yeah, what were you saying?
No, yeah, you were just saying about personal fouls and how we've seen a lot of both teams on the bonus now. There's been 31 total personal fouls in this game. It's been a very, very foul-heavy contest between these two sides.
Yeah, very aggressive. As Alex King tries to intercept the pass, it tips off his hand. He's saying it went off Walter White, but the seemed like it pretty clearly went off his hand. Maybe trying to get a lucky turnover, lucky call there as the Terriers inbound it. Seemingly by surprise, Army was not ready for it, but Matone is unable to finish on the other end. As Alex King's got the ball now. Hits it to Grayson and Mark Fink now at the top of the key. Rotating in with Josh Caldwell. Finds Fink again under the basket. Kicks it back out to Lonnie Grayson, who's on the left side. Up to King on the corner. And Army's just been rotating around, but Fink finds an opening, drives in, and it's a block by White, but he's called for the foul. And that'll be Mark Fink at the line for, or Nick Fink, my apologies, at the line for 2.
Yeah, this is another moment here as we can see Coach Joe Jones is not happy with this call of Walter White being fouled. After a really great block, Nick Fink was charging right up to the basket and White was with him step for step and movement for movement. But it looks like Army's going to have another chance here to add another point or two to their lead. And, you know, at this point, this game is nearly out of reach for the Terriers. Again, there's still some time left, and I don't want to say it's impossible, but this is becoming a very, very tall mountain for the Terriers to climb. Trailing by 17 and a half, trailing by 26 in the game. That is a rough recipe for a comeback.
Yeah, and Fink misses his first free throw attempt. Hemphill comes in for Matone, misses both free throw attempts, so the Terriers ends up being a good foul by White. Is that what it is? White's got the ball at the top of the key now over to Pascoe. Pascoe's trying to get by. Army playing very aggressive off the perimeter, and White has a hard time corralling the pass, kicks it back out to Pascoe, and he swishes the 3. And it might be a little bit too little too late, but the shots are starting to fall here for the Terriers, at least more so in the second half. It's 65-42 with just under 6 minutes. Grayson tries again on his own, but it falls just short, bounces off Nick Fink's shoe, and it looks like it's going to – they're calling it the Army ball. I thought it went off of Fink's shoe, but they're keeping it on Army side.
Yeah, that sure did look like it. The pass went off, the rebound went off of Nick Fink's shoe, and well, that's a bit of a lucky break there. I mean, we could just saw a quick flash of Coach Jones, and he didn't look awfully upset about that call, so we must have missed a little bit of something here. We don't have the most perfect angle to watch, but we're always doing our best here.
Rucker drives in, kicks it out to Tucker Blackwell, who finds Rucker again, and he swishes the 3. Man, Army is just responding to every single shot that the Terriers are throwing their way. Brewster is bringing the ball down over to Pascoe. Hemphill at the top of the keys, trying to find an opening, sees White on the outside. White on the left side of the court, kicks it back out to Brewster, who finds Pascoe on the wing again. Pascoe over to the middle, kicks it out to Petkash. Petkash wide open 3, and he swishes it. And that was a shot that he really should have made. A great look, good rotation by the Terriers, and finds Petkash, who cashes it in. Alex King with the ball. Jalen Rucker up front for Army. King back at the top of the key, trying to look around White, and there's a stoppage here. Looks like there is a foul off the ball. And it
looks like Garrett Pascoe is being charged here with his second personal foul of the game. And I mean, for the BU Terriers, Joe, I mean, we haven't had too many positive things to talk about here, but there is one, and that is that by nature of just having shot so many of them, they have achieved a new season high with that one from Andrew Petkash. That's the 8th three-point shot drained by the Terriers today. Unfortunately, their percentage is really not bad. They're 8 for 27. 29.6% is a huge improvement from the 1 for 29 mark that we've brought up a couple of times. And at least they are starting to net a few more of them, but the 3 points, the 3-pointers are just not enough. I say it and I'll say it again. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, and Caldwell misses that first free throw attempt, but he's getting the second shot here. And there's 4:43 to go in this game. 68-45. He misses the second one. Brewster gets the rebound over to Walter White, trying to pick the pace up, trying to see if they can get back in here. It tries to find Hemphill underneath, but it gets stolen by the Black Knights. Rutgers got the ball up top. Pass it over to Mark Madden. Madden gives it back to Rucker near the logo. Rucker calling out a play formation. It's Blackwell over there to Charlie Peterson, who looks like he's back in the game, and he finds the bucket underneath. And Army's up to 70.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much of Charlie Peterson lately, and that's got to be because he racked up his 4th personal foul quite a few minutes ago. And I'm sure that Jimmy Allen wants to, head coach for Army, wants to see him stay in the game. So he's got to be a bit more conservative with how he's going to use him. And
Brewster gets fouled. It looks like the ball rolled out of bounds, but did generate some contact. And it seems like the Terriers are. Oh, he's heading to the bench. Yeah, their teams are heading to the bench, looking like there's a timeout. There's 4 minutes left exactly. It's 70-45 in Army's favor. They've really stretched out this lead. Looked a lot closer in the first half. Even though the Terriers offense has picked up, the Black Knights have responded just as well. And it's getting down to crunch time here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen really 2 different storylines developing here in both halves, Joe. The first really being that the Terriers, it seemed like they were almost exclusively shooting from behind the 3-point line. So few shots from inside the arc that have a higher percentage of just going in. And here in the second half, it seems as though the Terriers offense has picked it up a little bit. They may crack 30 points here in the second half. They already have 22. The problem is this second half has been a game of call and respond, because every time it seems, especially in the second half of the second half, from 10 minutes to go and under, it seems like every shot BU has taken that has landed in the basket, Army has had an answer every single time. And you got to give BU credit. The offense is getting into a nice rhythm, but now the defense is suffering for it. A complete and well-rounded game across all 40 minutes is something that BU has not seen in their last few games, and that is not something we've seen here today.
Yeah, and it's important to note that while the BU shooting has improved as the game has gone on, Army is shooting just under 53% from the field today. They continue finding guys under the basket, namely Alex King and Josh Caldwell leading this offense, leading the scoring effort. And Lonnie Grayson has really shown up in the second half here with his scoring efforts. So just a pretty solid game all around from Army, and it's really showing here. Terriers just have not been able to find their streaks at the right time.
Yeah, and just scoring from all different names up and down the roster, really, for Army. And while, of course, King, Caldwell, and Grayson have been carrying a lot of the weight, there have been contributions coming from many different players. Jalen Rucker has 5 points, Charlie Peterson with 6, Tucker Blackwell, Nick Fink, Aaron Duhart, Mark Madden. They're all scoring here.
And Tucker got the steal on that last play, misses the initial layup, but Mark Madden comes in with the follow-up on the offensive rebound. And it seemed like Terriers did have the rebounding advantage coming in, but that was a terrific follow-up play by Army, who continue to play aggressive up by the perimeter. Morales tries to find Hemphill underneath. Hemphill, looking at his options, dribbles in, puts up the shot, and it goes right in. Nice follow through by Hemphill. It's 72-47. With just over 3 minutes to go. Rutgers bringing the ball down, finds Blackwell, gives it to Peterson. Peterson at the free throw line, dishes it out to Mark Madden. Madden over to Rucker on the wing. Rucker drives in, under the basket, shoots in the paint, and a nice nifty jumper there by Caldwell. Or that was Rucker, excuse me. 74-47.
Another call and response, Joe. All second half long. Every BU score has an Army score waiting right behind it.
Yep. And it's Morales on the left wing. Finds Hemphill outside. Nice open look by Hemphill, and he drains it. That was a nice shot by Hemphill. We mentioned, he doesn't take too many threes, but he's been pretty efficient when he does. And that was a nice open look by Hemphill that he capitalized on. 74-50, Army's favor. Finds Peterson open, kicks it back out to Madden. And the Petkash got it. Seemed like it stayed in bounds, but that was a nice steal attempt by Petkash. We'll see where the ball ends up. It sort of got loose there, and it seems like
the referee got in the way as the Terriers were trying to hold on to it.
Yeah, so it's
seemed to complicate matters a little bit. Great takeaway by Petkash, but there was too much traffic around the ball right after the Terriers got it back.
Yeah, you nailed it. But it does seem like the ball is going Terriers' way. They are calling it in BU's favor. So Brewster's going to inbound to Pasco, who's slow to bring it up. We got just over 2 minutes to go. Seems like they're just going to try to get their shooting touch here. Hempel, another nice look from the top of the key, but that falls just short, hitting the rim. But Morales underneath getting the rebound. Scrappy play, tries to go over 2 guys. It falls, doesn't even reach the basket. It was a tough shot there by Morales. And Jordan Coleman's now on for Army for the first time. Seems like both sides are going to get some players that don't play as many minutes onto the court. And Chris Mann from Army tries to go for the dunk, falls a bit short there. Hempel at the top of the key finds Morales. Morales spots up from the right corner, and he drills it. Nice shot from Morales. At least they're starting to get their shooting touch back, but it's just over a minute and a half to go in this game. It's still 74-53 Army. This one's definitely out of hand at this point unless something happens, and Army responds yet again with the 3 of their own. That was Mark Madden from behind the arc there on the left wing.
This is just so impressive by the Army Black Knights here. And crazily enough, it looks like this Terrier defense is about to let up around 80 points, which is where they've been sitting all season.
Yeah, and Morales from the exact same spot as the last position. Not as good as a swish, banged off the rim a couple times, but it still went in. Morales with his second 3 on the second consecutive possession. And just about a minute left now, 77-56 in Army's favor. It's going to be Jordan Coleman inbounding the ball on the Terrier blue line as Garrett Pasco comes out of the game for the Terriers.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, BU is really, as we could tell, this game was pretty out of hand, grasping for air, shooting the threes, trying to score as many points as possible. But unfortunately, this game fell out of hand and no recovery was really possible.
Coleman misses his layup attempt, rebound to the Terriers. They try to get back down. Petkash with a nice look, and he nails it. As 45 seconds left, Petkash spotting up with the open 3. And the scoreboard did not change. He looks kind of upset. It seems like for some reason they didn't call it. And oh no, now they're changing. Okay, it seems like they're a little bit delayed on the scoreboard there. So Petkash now coming out of the game on his own. And the Terriers are up to 12 3-pointers on the game. They're shooting 37.5% from 3 at this point, which they probably would have wanted to see that.
They're outdoing Army in that regard, but I think that may just be from the fact that they've shot from 3 almost twice as much. But where was this shooting for the first 35 minutes of the game is all I have to ask. If they were shooting like this, they'd be in the lead.
Yeah, it was their third 3 in a row, and Army carves in with a nice dunk attempt from Peterson. He's able to get inside. Hempel drives in, 20 seconds left and counting. And Michael Quinn's on the floor now for the Terriers. Back out to Hempel. He tries to drive in, 12 seconds left. Tough shot there. Rings out, unable to go, and Mark Madden ends up with the ball. 6 seconds, 5. This game's winding down, 79-59. Army is going to be the final score here as the clock finally runs out with the ball in Madden's hand, and that seems like it was trending this way the whole time. And despite the improved shooting from the Terriers on their part, it's just not enough to get back in this one.
Way too late. And something that we said all throughout the half was this just one notion that it seemed like in the second half, every time the BU Terriers drained a basket, whether for 2 points or 3, Army had the answer. And that persisted through both of BU's small scoring surges throughout the second half. And there are some things that this team is going to have to look at heading into tomorrow, where they will play these Army Black Knights once again. One of them has got to be consistency in the halves. This was the first time in many games that perhaps since their season opener against Holy Cross, I believe that's the case, where the Terriers scored more points in the second half than they did in the first. The problem was they really scored very few points in the first half. Not much was really working. And here late in the game, I think the only reason they ended up with 36 total points was because in the last 3 or 4 minutes, they just started shooting every 3 possible, and they made a lot of them. So give them credit for that. But the game got out of hand, and that was that.
So another pretty lopsided loss maybe not quite as much as the Colgate game, but still a 20-point loss for the Terriers. Walter White led the scoring with 17 points on the Terrier side. He added 4 rebounds and 2 assists. And on the Army side, 3 players contributed for about over half of their point input. We've been talking about him all game. Alex King with 20 points to lead everyone on the court. He had 2 steals, 1 assist, and a rebound. And then, it was Josh Caldwell for Army as well with 15 points, a steal, 5 rebounds, and for on their end. So Army getting it done, able to get all their scorers involved, their top guys involved. Terriers found their shooting stroke a little bit too late, and they'll try to carry that in tomorrow's game. It's obviously a start over. They'll hope to carry that momentum, but not enough to get back in this one.
And a fall to 1-4 on the year in the Patriot League North Division. And with the way Colgate handled them and with the way that they just look out of whack whenever the offense really clicks, the defense struggles, especially. And when the defense does a decent job, the offense can't completely get going. Somehow, some way, those two types of play need to mesh together. And that's the only way BU is going to right the ship. But this 1-4 start, it's been tough. Been tough to watch. And there are clearly things that need to be improved. And hopefully Coach Jones will have the right way to get that message across to his team, and we will start to see those changes tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll have about 22 hours to figure out what else to do, how else to approach this Black Knights team. But for now, that'll be their next game, 1 p.m. tomorrow. That'll do it for us here, WTBU Sports. I'm Joe Pohorilis with Daniel Moltz. Final score, Army 79, BU 59. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in tomorrow.